The moment my sister laughed and called me useless, something inside me shut down. I didn't argue, I didn't defend myself. Because deep down, I was afraid she might be right. She said it in front of everyone. No shame, no hesitation. And years later, when my name was announced in a room full of strangers, I saw her face change forever. My name is Daniel, and this is the story I stayed silent about for years. Growing up, I was always the invisible one, not because I didn't exist, but because my sister took up all the space. She was everything people admired. Confident, loud, sharp. The kind of person teachers remembered years later. I was the opposite. Quiet, slow to speak, always thinking, never impressing. At school events, parents would say things like, "Oh, you're her brother." Not my name, just her shadow. At home, the comparisons never stopped. If she scored high, it was expected. If I did okay, it was surprising. If I failed, that became dinner conversation. My sister didn't hate me. That's what made it worse. But she just didn't take me seriously. By the time we were adults, the gap between us felt permanent. She had a clear career, friends who admired her, a voice that carried weight. I bounced between jobs, tried things that didn't work, quit things I cared about because failure hurt too much. Every family gathering felt like a test I was failing in public. Someone would ask, "So Daniel, what are you doing now?" Before I could finish my sentence, my sister would jump in. "He's still figuring things out." Everyone laughed politely. She smiled. The night she called me useless happened after I lost another job. I didn't announce it. I didn't ask for sympathy, but somehow she knew. We were sitting at the dinner table with relatives around. Someone asked about my work. I hesitated. That pause was enough. My sister leaned back in her chair and said, "Let's be honest, he's kind of useless." Laughter filled the room, not loud laughter. The uncomfortable kind. I felt my face burn. I wanted to disappear. I told myself not to react, not to make it worse. But inside something cracked, because part of me believed her. After that night, I stopped sharing my goals. I stopped talking about what I wanted to build, what I dreamed of becoming. I worked quietly. Late nights, no applause. I failed again and again. Every failure felt heavier because I imagined her reaction, the smirk, the "I told you so." There were nights I stared at the ceiling wondering if she was right. Maybe I was useless. Maybe I just wasn't built for more. Years passed like that, and something small changed. Not success, not recognition, just persistence. I stuck with one thing longer than usual, and longer than anyone expected. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell my sister, because I wasn't ready to fail in front of her again. But that still wasn't the moment everything changed. The real moment came years later, inside a room I almost didn't walk into. It was an industry awards event. Not glamorous, not famous. Just a room full of people who actually understood the work. I was invited last minute. I almost didn't go. I sat in the back, telling myself I was just there to observe, but I didn't belong on that stage. My sister was there too, confident as ever, chatting, laughing. She barely noticed me. As names were announced, my mind wandered. I thought about that dinner table, that laugh. I told myself I'd leave early. Then the host paused, looked down at the card and said my name. My body didn't respond. I honestly thought I imagined it. People started clapping. Someone whispered, "That's you?" I stood up slowly. My legs felt weak. I walked forward. I looked at my sister. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't laughing. She looked confused. On stage, they talked about my work, not my failures, not my past, my consistency, my resilience. Things no one had ever credited me for. When I finished, the applause felt different, not loud, real. Later that night, my sister approached me quietly. No jokes, no laughter. "I didn't know you were capable of that," she said. I nodded. And for the first time, I realized something important. Her belief no longer mattered, because I had already proven it to myself. If someone who once made you feel worthless suddenly saw your value, would it change anything for you? Tell me in the comments.